So let's talk about the inner planets. So we're going to talk about four of the eight planets. Now, we've already discussed what a planet is, what are the uh, rules, what are the guidelines for something to be called a planet. We know that it has to orbit the sun. We know that it has to have hydrostatic equilibrium, meaning a mostly round shape. And we know that it has to have cleared the neighborhood in its orbit. So let's talk about the inner planets, the four planets closest to the sun. So that would be Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. We know that when we talked about the different types of planets, these are terrestrial planets. These are the four terrestrial planets. Now, actually, all of the dwarf planets would also be considered terrestrial, but since they are not planets, these are the four terrestrial planets. So let's talk first about Mercury. Mercury being the closest to the sun. Mercury named for the Roman messenger god, Hermes in Greek, um, given this name because it moved the fastest across the sky. And we can see that its orbit period is 88 days. So it definitely moves the fastest as far as its orbit is concerned. Um, but it also has a rotation period of 176 days. Now, it actually has kind of an interesting relationship with its orbit and its rotation, and it's known as what it's known as what's called tidally locked with the sun. So it has like a 3-to-2 ratio. Now, think back to when we talked about how the relationship between the moon's rotation and orbit around Earth, that's a 1-to-1. So for every rotation, it revolves around the Earth one time. So for every three rotations of Mercury, it has two revolutions around the sun. And it's actually one of the more interesting ratios when you get to break it down, which we're not going to do a lot of right now. But let's look at its distance from the sun. If you remember, aphelion is its furthest point from the sun, is not even half of our distance. So Earth is roughly 1 AU, 1 atomic unit. So at its furthest, it's less than half. At its closest, it's less than a third of our distance. So that it's got a pretty big gap as far as its closest and furthest point. Um, but it's still very close either way. It is definitely the smallest planet at only 3,032 miles in diameter. Has little less than a third of the gravity on Earth. But notice these temperature changes. This is the biggest change in temperature in the solar system. You have a high of 800 degrees, and that would be the side when it's facing the sun, so the daytime temperature. But at night, it drops way down. So that's the biggest temperature fluctuation in our solar system. Now, take a look at the inner makeup of it. So, it being terrestrial is going to be very similar to how Earth is made up. Um, Solid inner core, molten outer core, rocky mantle, solid crust. Um, Now, it does not have very much of an atmosphere. Low gravity, being very close to the sun, not much is going to stay on there. But look at this magnetosphere that it has. It's got quite a lot going on because of how close to the sun it is. Let's check out Venus next. Venus, closest in size to Earth, 7,521 miles. Its gravity, just a little bit less than Earth. Its distance, about 3/4 of the way to the sun from Earth. Not a huge fluctuation in its aphelion and perihelion, so that tells us it's a little more round of an orbit. However, its orbit period, um, it's 225 days, but its rotation period is considerably longer, 243 days. So it's going to have one rotation is going to take longer than it is to go around the sun. Now, what Venus is known for is its atmosphere is, I think, about 95, 96% carbon dioxide. And if you know about greenhouse gases, you're going to hear that a lot, talking about climate change, talking about the atmosphere and the climate here on Earth. Um, Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. And so what that does is it traps heat, does not allow it to escape back out of the atmosphere of Venus. So look at this average temperature. There's not a lot of fluctuations, but the average temperature is even higher than Mercury. It's further away from the sun, doesn't get near as much solar radiation, but it traps that heat in and heats it up like a greenhouse, hence greenhouse gases. So it definitely has the highest temperature of our inner planets. And this atmosphere gives it all of these clouds. And if you look at, so like I said, mostly carbon dioxide, but there's also sulfuric acid in the atmosphere there. So metallic core, rocky mantle like Earth, and a crust. One interesting thing about Venus is that just last month, scientists confirmed the presence of phosphine gas in the atmosphere of Venus, meaning that it has the potential to have at least microscopic life living in the atmosphere there. And it was pretty big news if you didn't hear anything about it, but we'll probably talk a little bit about that in class. Third, a very special planet to us, uh, considering this is where we live. This is the only planet in our solar system known to definitely have intelligent life. Now, we have seen microscopic life elsewhere, particularly in Mars, but nothing near what we have on Earth. Earth has this abundance and diversity of life, and a lot of it has to do with its atmosphere, but more importantly, the presence of liquid water. Um, its distance from the sun. Uh, the average is 93 million miles, but the furthest is 94.5 million miles, the closest 91.4. But it is right in this sweet spot around the sun where it doesn't have the wild fluctuations in temperature that you're going to get if you're closer or further. It's the perfect uh, uh, distance to have liquid water available. Now we know our orbital period is 365.25 days. We know that our rotation period is 1 day, since the figure, the term day, we are always judging by our rotation period. Diameter, Earth is 7,918 miles in diameter. Our surface gravity, 1 g. That's, again, what we're measuring the gravity on other planets is according to what our gravity is. Now, see here our average high temperature, or not our average high, but our highest temperature, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, very hot. Our low, now this is astonishingly cold. Um, I grew up in Michigan where we have very cold winters, and I will tell you, I never saw it this cold. That is extremely cold. Now, I saw it well below 0 Fahrenheit on more than one occasion, but never this cold. But this is the coldest that it has been in more recent times. Um, Obviously, if you go back into our geological history and you get into ice ages, you're going to find colder temps. But this is the most recent extreme low. Now, you're probably very familiar with the makeup of the Earth, but I want you to be aware of it. We have this solid inner core, we have a liquid outer core, our mantle, and then our crust. Um, Mostly, these planets are made of heavier metals, which I'll get into that in a bit. But I want you to note that the inner core is probably mostly iron in Earth. So let's talk about the last of our inner planets, Mars. Mars is one that we're pretty familiar with. We have had um, no manned missions there, but we have landed objects on Mars. We have several things there now. We have different rovers. We have successfully studied the entire planet. We have soil samples and rock samples and things like that. We've mapped it extensively. Um, Mars is considerably smaller than Earth. The diameter is 4,221 miles. The gravity, similar to that of Mercury, um, it's a little over a third of that of Earth. Now, the temperatures, it is actually pretty cold on Mars. And if you remember back to our note taking, we talked about Mars extensively. And not that we were studying Mars at the time, but we just happened to use a lot of information about it. It gets pretty cold there. It's high, only 95 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's low, negative 226. Gets pretty cold, stays pretty cold there. Its orbital period is pretty long, and if you look at its aphelion, the furthest away from the sun, 1.67 AU, so about 2/3 more than the distance that Earth is from the sun, but its perihelion 1.38. So there's a decent difference in the aphelion versus the perihelion, so pretty oval shaped orbit. It takes 687 days. However, its rotation period, interesting to note, just about 39 minutes more than Earth. So a day there, roughly the same as a day on Earth, which is one of the reasons that it's always interesting to look into it and to study it and want to explore it, and potentially use it as a place in the future to colonize. Now, the interior of Mars, interesting that, again, you have the mantle, iron oxide, so rust, mostly rust in the mantle, and then you have iron sulfide, iron nickel alloy in the crust there. Silicate, as I mentioned yesterday, is sand, rock, um, as the makeup. Now, um, Mercury and Venus do not have any satellites, no moons. We know that Earth has one, but Mars actually has two moons. They are Phobos and Deimos. And they're both irregularly shaped. And just like the surface of Mercury and Mars, you can see lots of craters, lots of craters. So, not a lot in the atmosphere to protect it from meteors, different things striking it. But these are the two moons of Mars, and those are our inner planets. Now, as I mentioned, they all have heavier metals as their core, and that's because we think that when the solar system was forming, the lighter elements would have been pushed away from the sun, but the heavier elements stayed within this distance from the sun to about the um, about the asteroid belt, and would have accreted, would have come together and compressed to make these four inner planets.